Good afternoon. I'm glad to present to your attention a work on the topic the influence of the accident at Chernobyl nuclear power plant on the condition of vine plantation of a Ukrainian forest. So, as a result of the accidents at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the forests of the Zhytomyr region suffered significant radioactive contamination and were withdrawn from forestry use in connection with negative changes began to be observed in them. Favorable condition for the development of pests and diseases were created. The fire hazard increased, the quality of wood decreased, the processes of self-liquidation of stands accelerated. Also, the accumulation of dry matter and the formation of litter is increased. More than 35 years have passed since the accidents at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and the radiation situation in the forest areas has changed. That is why it is necessary to carry out a modern assessment of the sanitary condition of pine plantation in radioactively contaminated territories. The obtained results will make it possible to consider ways of optimizing forestry management on these lands. The purpose, object, and subject of our research are presented on this slide. So, to study the sanitary condition of pine plantation, test plots were laid in the state enterprise Народичі specialized forestry. The density of radioactive soil contamination were more than 555 kilobecquerel per square meter, and for control, test plots were used at the state enterprise Malin Forestry. The density of radioactive soil contamination did not exceed 37 kilobecquerel per square meter. That's why trial areas were laid out in fresh pines with different age groups of stands, medieval, emerging, and mature. The assessment of the sanitary state of pine plantation was carried out according to the methodology of the Ukrainian Research Institute of Forestry and Agroforestry named after Vysotsky on a 6-point scale, and the ecological state of pine plantation well characterizes the distribution of trees by categories of sanitary state, the distribution of pine trees by status categories in medieval pine plantation shows that the number of pine stands with no signs of weakening. Category 1 in the control area is 1.2 times more than on the test area, but weakened category 2 is 1.1 times respectively. Regarding the distribution of tree stands according to the third category, no significant difference was noted. However, the share of very weakened trees is 30% on test area and 20%, 12% on control area. When comparing the percentage distribution of the following categories of sanitary condition, it can be noted that there are 1.7 times more dying stands of category 4 on test area than in the control area. Fresh dry ones, category 5 is 3 times more, and old dryness, category 6 is 1.2 times. 3-4, according to the obtained results, it can be stated that in the 60 years old forest plantation of the Narodichi forestry, the distribution of stands by status category is much worse than in the Malin forestry. The results of the study are confirmed by the data of univariate variance analysis at the 95% confidence level. Similar regularities in the distribution of pine trees by categories of sanitary conditions were observed in our age groups of stands growing in fresh forest. An integral indicator that characterizes the state of the pine plantation as a whole is the sanitary state index. In 60 years old pine stands in the Narodichi forestry, the index of sanitary condition is 2.45. In new ones, 2.57, and in the mature ones, 2.55. In the stands of the Malin forestry, where economic activity was carried out in a timely manner, the condition index ranged from 1.89 to 2.30, arriving at mature pine stands which grow in radioactively contaminated areas of fresh pines belong to the very weakened index of sanitary condition, and the medieval ones to the weakened ones. In the control trials areas where measures from forest care were carried out in a timely manner, pine trees of all age groups belong to stands characterized by an order of magnitude beta values of the sanitary condition index. In radioactively contaminated territories growing in fresh forest, the share of pine trees of the second and third categories of marketability varies from 58 to 72%. Whereas on the control test plots, this range varies from 52 to 58%. It can be assumed that the distribution of trees by categories of technical wood suitability depends on the quality and timeless of forest management activities in them. The analysis of the obtaining data shows that the specific activity of cesium in the components of the forest ecosystem differs significantly in flat pines. The minimum values of the investigated indicator were recorded in the soil, and the maximum values were recorded in the forest floor, and individual representatives of the grass shrub and moss cover. During the analysis of the values of the specific activity of the radionuclide in pine, the usual highest was noted in the inner bar, which is 2 times more than in the outer one, and the wood is characterized by the lowest values of cesium content. According to the increase in the specific activity of the radionuclide in the morphological parts of the tree, the following ranked order can be established in the next step. Wood, thin branches, outer bark, pins, inner bark, and shoot. So we have some conclusion. These main conclusions are presented on this slide. Please do not read them. Thank you for your attention. If you have some question, please ask.